Russian folk tale about wolf and lamb, and the American government. This is what we'll talk about today. Hello there, I'm Elena, welcome back to my channel Enough of Propaganda. Please like, subscribe, share my channel, and let's make truth available for everyone. This video will be short. It's mostly dedicated to Americans, but not necessarily. What I want to show you today is basically that American government and Donald Trump, who started the tariffs wars with basically whole world, and I have a video on tariffs so you can watch it and it will be explained to you better about what it is and so on. But basically tariff is a sales tax which American people will pay. And many American people are suffering right now and will suffer even more. But what is almost funny part of it, it was started for no reason whatsoever. And even people from American government cannot explain why they started it. I would like to show you a couple video clips from, for example, when they're talking about Australia. Look at that incomprehensible word salad, a mumbling, and trying to say, when they really asked why in the world you put tariffs on Australia, which actually buying from the United States more than United States buying from Australia. And I showed you in my video about tariffs how they calculated it. It's about tariff, about trade deficit, which has nothing to do with tariffs and so on.
Interesting thing with Australia is we have a free trade agreement with Australia. We don't have tariffs. We even have one of the few industrial countries, we have a trade surplus with Australia. So Ambassador Greer, can you explain to me how it helps America's national security or our trading balance when we have, and I loved your fancy Greek formula, which was basically bad math on steroids formula, how with the trade surplus, with this strong relationship, Australia got hit with a 10% tariff as well?
Senator, Australia has the lowest rate available under the new program. They ban imports of American beef and pork.
Ambassador, excuse me. There is a trade, we already have a free trade agreement. We have a trade surplus. So getting the least bad, why did they get whacked in the first place?
We're addressing the $1.2 trillion deficit, the largest in human history that President Biden left us with. We should be running up the score in Australia.
Ambassador Greer, answer the question on Australia. We have a trade surplus with Australia. We have a free trade agreement. Why? They are an incredibly important national security partner. Why were they whacked with a tariff?
Senator, despite the agreement, they ban our beef, they ban our pork. They're getting ready to impose measures on our digital companies.
With your Greek letter formula, the fact that we have a trade surplus.
We have a global tariff on everyone. We're trying to address the $1.2 trillion deficit that Biden left us with.
I think that answer, sir, you're a much smarter person than that answer. The idea that we are going to whack friend and foe alike, and particularly friends, with this level is both, I think, insulting the Australians, undermines our national security, and frankly makes us not a good partner going forward. The lack of trust from friends and allies based upon this ridiculous policy that goes into full effect at midnight tonight is extraordinary. I'll go back to what the market believers believe today is happening. A good day in hospice. I'm afraid if we keep these tariffs in effect, we're looking like an economy that will be in hospice.
What it is remind me of is a Russian folk tale about the wolf and the lamb. So if you hear some noise, it's a little creek nearby. And that's where it happened. So basically wolf came to the creek and then they see lamb, little lamb, who just born this recently, drinking out of the creek. So wolf want to eat the lamb and he need to justify it. It shouldn't be just he grabbed the lamb and eat it. He needed justification. So he said, how dare you to mud my water with your dirty face? How dare you to insult wolves and do bad stuff for wolves for years? And the lamb is saying, well, sorry, I'm sorry, sir, I just was born. I haven't done anything yet. And then the wolf said, that must have been your father or your brother. I don't have any of them. I don't have a father, I don't have a brother, or something like that. And yet, in the end, Wolf finally said, you are guilty because I'm hungry. Grabbed the lamb and ran into the forest and ate him. This is exactly what just these Americans said about Australia. We just need money. That's why we decided to tax you. When the America breaking the laws, going back on the agreements, it's hurt America. It hurt American people, and the American reputation is destroyed. So other countries will find a way to go around America eventually. They will suffer. Some of them came begging Trump on their knees. And I can tell you who it was. It was Lesotho. The small country who producing Levi jeans and some other jeans. They can survive without it. And Americans soon will pay huge amount of for the jeans.
I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir.
In a recent video on the Michael Naki channel, which is in Russian, Vladimir Milov, this man, had lots of good information about Trump, but it's in Russian and it's kind of public knowledge. So Vladimir Milov, not only economist, but he was used to be a deputy of the Minister of Energy in Russia. So what new information we have right now is that Trump paused not all the tariffs. The tariffs, which was 10%, they still exist and they still working. And also it is important to know about the insider trading. So basically there are proofs that right before Trump announced that tariffs will be postponed, there were several actions made. Somebody bought, sold on the market, and this is kind of how it is. So this is insider trading, as insider trading as it gets. Another president will be in jail by now. When one person could influence market that much. And I personally remember the situation when, in the past, one tweet of Trump dropped the shares of Boeing. And nobody complained. He didn't go to jail for that. No big deal. So apparently Americans didn't have enough of that. They re-elected him. So now we have this. This is insider trading. He just posted, it's time to buy. And the only people who read in his posts get unfair information about it. And only that Trump market bounced a little bit up and then it fall again. American markets crashed even more after my previous video, and Trump did insider trading. And whatever, he just backed out of it for a while. It because partly somebody finally told him something, and because it's American bonds. It's a different topic, so I won't go into it, but this was stupid, reckless, and we all will pay for it, not just Americans, unfortunately. Another useful video is the real reason Trump had to back off from tariffs by Amy Siskind. She will explain it really well and in much better English than mine.
He was literally on the pace, and he might still be, of putting the world into a global recession. We might be in a recession already because of it, but that would be the impact on the economy. That if you were trying to get a 30-year mortgage, when rates are spiking, your mortgage is going to cost more. Your credit card debt is going to cost more. Your auto loans are going to cost more, et cetera, which is inflationary.
Mr. Trade Representative, are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago. It's something
Sitting here,
under discussion.
Sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President
details of the pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
No, excuse me? China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
What's the blink, sir?
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the
We've had
details?
discussions.
How long is the pause? How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've
So
been
the
in this
trade
hearing.
representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have. I've
And
just
yet
been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet. WTF? Who's in charge?
The president of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
It looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you and paused the tariffs, the taxes on the American people. There's no strategy. You just found out 3 seconds ago, sitting here, we saw you.
we've been discussing a
If
variety
you
of these
came
actions
here
already.
knowing that you were going to be turned off, that these tariffs were going to be turned off, why didn't you include that in your opening statement? Why didn't you reference that as part of your testimony?
Well, I don't disclose my conversations with the president, sir.
These were specific questions we asked you all along. What's the strategy? These are real consequences for the American people and small businesses.
What upset me the most is that Republicans themselves, not who considered themselves not MAGA, supporting it and applauding. Oh boy, Trump imposed tariffs on China. I probably should make a separate video on China, but literally, China provided lots of goods to the United States, which they depended on and they can't possibly recreate, especially in short period of time. Include the phones we are talking on. Include everything. This glass is made in China. Most of it made in China. And on the most of it, Americans will pay tariffs. But the very people who voted for Trump, poor people, who benefiting from cheap Chinese goods more than anybody else, they will suffer the most of everybody else.
I think we can look at, I think we should look at history and data for this. It's hard to project what's going to happen with prices, but we know in the first Trump term, the president imposed historic tariffs on China on an enormous amount of goods coming from China. And during that time, inflation went down by 0.1%.
So the stupidity is on the rise, and people will pay for their stupidity. Russians are paying their price.
So I think there's not really a one-to-one on tariffs and price effects, and so many things go into price. I know you think I'm probably like dodging and weaving on this, but but I'm looking at data, sir,
Yeah,
and
but
the
I know
data shows
you.
it's not
I know
one-to-one.
you. I know. You.
We will see where that goes. I think we need to work with our closest friends to make sure that we have trading arrangements that work, and if the Chinese are open, we'll see what. But they haven't signaled that at all, so I don't think that's in the very near term with China.
I just am concerned that there's no strategy at all. I'm committed. We understand in the Pacific Northwest what the stakes are. To have a smart, tough strategy, I don't see any strategy at all, and you really haven't said much about what the strategy is this morning.
But try to build a factory in America. It takes years for anything to build. This is why whatever Trump is doing is stupid, insane, unacceptable, and will damage American people first. About this, he's right. And also he's right about that no American president have ever done this before. No American president have ever hurt American people more than Trump just did. And another thing I want to show you is what Ronald Reagan said about it. What the whole world saw, how America became the world power and the basically best, most prosperous country in the world and the world leader. I decided to put the video about Ronald Reagan, make it a separate video. So here it is, where you can hear and see what Ronald Reagan said himself in several speeches from 1987 and 1988 about everything, trade wars, tariffs, allies, and so on. He was an intelligent man. At least he had good advisors and people who really know about economy and everything. This is a good piece of American history the world needs to remember. The extraordinary YouTuber Jake Bro recently posted that the modern Republican Party died in 2018 with the passing of John McCain. And I kind of agree with him. But right now, America and the whole world need all Americans, Democrats and Republicans, to stand up for their democracy. Otherwise, it's just getting absolutely crazy that Reagan now is considered a commie, a lefty, and Putin is a hero. We need them all to help the world and to help America, first of all. All the Republicans who are so pro-Reagan and this and that. I personally actually have been in President Ronald Reagan's library. And I'm grateful that he was smart enough that he managed to have agreement with Russian Gorbachev. We at the time were so happy in the Soviet Union that the war isn't going to happen, that we're not going to be in the nuclear Armageddon. So Reagan was smart enough to do that. And he was smart enough to understand on what base the wealth of America based. Unfortunately, the new American leader isn't smart at all. In fact, he's stupid and reckless. I really hope American people will do something about it. I mean, remove him from power or something like that, because he isn't going to stop. Whatever he's doing, it paused for 90 days. It's in uncertainty which killing the markets. Nobody going to build anything because they don't know what to do in those 90 days. What's going to happen after? Will he remove tariffs completely? Will they raise? What will be happening? Nobody knows. Ford, like I've been on the site of Ford, you still can't build a vehicle because they don't know what price going to be. There is information that by the end of this year, iPhone's going to cost you $4,000. Are you ready to pay $4,000 for iPhone? And everything else China is making, like batteries, solar panels, that industry will be killed, period. Even batteries which produced in the United States, well, they're not produced in the United States. They're not even engineered in the United States. You think if you slap American flag on it, it's going to be American all of a sudden? I have videos from the channel which showing they literally opening that battery, looking into it. It's all Chinese inside. Absolutely everything. This is Will Pro's channel. He's talking about batteries and this and that, like it's not a political channel. And I like the video he made, Tariffs and Solar Equipment, what will happen next. I recommend to watch it. What make me angry, that so-called economists, which is no one serious economist, supported Trump ideas. No one. Trump lied about Warren Buffett, supported him. That was a lie. And Buffett and the Berkshire Hathaway, which I'm actually, my family are shareholders. I have been on the meetings, shareholders meetings with Buffett. He had to make a statement, literally saying, I had said nothing of that kind or anything at all on the tariffs until shareholders meetings, which is coming up. Until then, I commented zero. So Trump lied and posted on his Truth Social lie. I want to promote more Jake Broad channel. This is the man we raised money for Ukraine with together. So he's commenting a lot about on America because he's an American and former military and very intelligent guy who had a channel talking about economy in the past. Before the war in Ukraine, now he dedicated himself and helping Ukraine a lot. So this is exactly what I'm saying. Imagine trying to manage a supply chain right now. Every 48 hours, the White House is announcing or re-announcing or unannouncing or creating massive carve-outs to new trade rule. Why would anyone build a new factory under these conditions? This stupidity in America is on the rise. 80% of Americans apparently are thinking that it would be great, America would be better off if more Americans worked in manufacturing. And Republicans, a lot of Republicans, as you can see. And only 20% disagree. But when they asked, I would be better off if I worked in a factory, only 25% of Americans agree. 73% disagree, and 2% currently work in a factory. In what world this is normal? It's just outrageous. Stupidity. This video is telling you why Canadians are avoiding the US and will its economy suffer. This really clearly explained what is happening, for example, with tourist industry. I recommend this video as well. The uncertainty will kill American economy. And American people will suffer enormously. They're already losing their businesses. Many of them suffering. I just seen information from apple farmers. They had a resort in the East Coast with Americans from Rhode Island, from some other places, where they're losing in American tourism, exactly as I told you it's going to be, and exactly what was happening. And these facts I provided you in my previous video are all true. Stop that madness. Thank you for watching. Learn the truth and stay informed. See you later.